Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Timeless Podcast. I'm once again joined by my guest Greaseball, and we got another very pleasant surprise from WotC the other day. We got a new article dropped out of nowhere announcing that Arena is going to be getting its own version of the MTGO Vintage Cube, the Arena Powered Cube. This cube is going to introduce a lot of new cards onto the client, and I don't want to go ahead and read the whole article on the podcast, but there's a lot of interesting points that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it almost feels like at this point we should just kind of have a little sign that says, X days since a card was added to Timeless. With the amount of updates we've been getting lately, um, I think
Yeah,
I,
it's
I I went
crazy.
back through yeah, I think I went back. There was like an old Reddit post from 3 months ago asking if Timeless was dead. People talked about how people don't play it a lot. It's actually really cheap to stay in it because they don't get a lot of new cards and like stuff like that. Um, and here we are. I think what they're like our fourth or fifth update in the past like 2 months.
Yeah, it's such a
And
crazy change of pace. Like before we made the podcast, Timeless it wasn't quite a dead format, but it was a slow rotating Eternal format, kind of like how Eternal formats were before Wizards started printing like Horizon sets and Commander products. Those formats could go very slowly, and that was the state Timeless was in for about a year, where you had the same, roughly the best decks, new things would pop up, but the meta was slow moving and people enjoyed the stability. But now we've gotten a lot of pleasant surprises, and it's exciting and it's made for great podcast material.
yeah, it's great. I think LSV already mistakenly called it the Vintage Cube. We're probably going to mistakenly call it the Timeless Cube. Some people will even call it the Powered Cube. But yeah, it's a really fun spot. Yeah, we can just kind of go into the reward structure a bit. It's basically the same reward structure as limited events for Premier and traditional drafts. Outside of the fact that you don't have any dusting because it's Phantom. So you'll get like less wild cards over time, and then you don't get any like gems for cards that you've already owned. And so that was another way you could like go like it made it easier to go infinite in sets that you like had completed. So it is a bit steeper of a reward cost in terms of like gems and coins, but it's still like fine enough, and it seems like one of the most fun formats on release, if not the funnest. So I seems fine with me.
Yeah, so let's point out for a lot of the people who haven't played much Cube on Arena, the reward structures used to be like really terrible for those Phantom cubes. In this reward structure, we're going to get a bunch of prize packs, both cube prize packs and historic boosters. And a historic booster is just a random booster from any historic legal set. Um, but before, these Phantom cubes gave you nothing in terms of packs. They would just give you some amount of your gold back, and if you won a bunch of games, you would break even. You really couldn't go infinite. You really couldn't build a collection doing this. But now we are actually going to get some amount of booster packs, which is awesome. And in addition to the random historic boosters, which might or might not be useful for your timeless collection, if you win multiple games in these cubes, you're going to get these new cube prize packs, which are broken down higher up in the article here.
Yeah, I think it's like it's fine. Um, Again, like you're just mainly like you're probably gonna be crafting most of the stuff that you want for timeless, and then you're incidentally gonna get like a couple of these. Um, so like yeah, I don't think it's like a big deal. It's nice that they're throwing it in. But the main thing is like they kind of give you enough gems back and stuff like that on release, and then you also like play-in points can eventually be converted into to gems as well. They're doing like play-ins and stuff like that. So um, whereas, yeah, previously the arena cubes they were just like a coin's pit unless you could go like 5-3 or seven like 5-3, 6-3, 7-3 or 7-2. So it's nice that this is actually like a much more sustainable thing that you can play repeatedly if you're doing well.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's playable free to play, and it doesn't feel like I'm throwing my money away when I'm playing it. And what's really cool about those like cube packs, I want to give them a lot of credit because they have 2+ rares each. And one of those rares is guaranteed from the cube bonus sheet, which I guess we can get into now because this cube bonus sheet is all of the cards that are actually going to get added to constructed from the cube. Now, to clear it up, because like this article is worded a little bit confusingly, and like a lot of people are confused in the community, these are the only cards that are going to timeless from the cube right now. There's a lot more cards in the cube, and there are cards that could in the future, talking months in the future, be fully implemented into timeless. But for now, these are the only ones that are going to be craftable. The main reason given is just because they would have to do a lot of QA testing to make sure all of the niche interactions between these old cards and new cards works. So these are the ones that they did at first, and of course, they don't want to hard rotate Timeless all at once by throwing every single banger at us. I personally like the idea of splitting up all of these cube cards into, 5 or maybe even 10 smaller releases about this size. It gives people to play with all the new people like time to play with all the new cards individually, gives us time to deck build, and you get to like explore playing with a card like Dack Fayden as opposed to them throwing the kitchen sink at us, including, like Force of Will and every format warping card at once, which would reduce the list of playable cards very quickly.
Yeah, and a lot of the cards they've gotten are like they picked out are pretty niche or pretty just like weak. They're not just like unequivocally like powerful on their own. I think yeah, there's not like a big like there's not a big card that sticks out to me that goes, oh, this is immediately going to be a tier 1 deck. This is immediately like going to be a tier 2 deck. Um, they're just kind
Yeah.
of cards that like are kind of based on synergy and they're being added and they're not going to overwhelm the format, which is nice. The curation for what cards are being added to Timeless seems like very intentional and involved,
Yeah, it does
to say the
seem
least.
like really good with this list. Like exactly, you hit it nail on the head. A lot of role players, nothing that is definitely going in multiple decks, which I like because we just had anthologies that rotated the format really hard with a bunch of cards that can go into multiple decks. There are a couple that are, generically good, like Preordain, but Preordain at this point is kind of power crept out of the format by Ponder plus Brainstorm. You probably don't need Preordain in your deck as well. There's quite a few cards like that. But then there's some really, really sweet role players. Like Fireblast is an awesome card that I'm glad we're getting on Arena. It's one of the 4 that's pre-banned in Historic, by the way. Pretty much all of the ones that break the fast mana rule are pre-banned in Historic, as well as preordained for just power level. But Fireblast is sweet because in this Ancient Tomb meta, I feel like you can get some sneaky wins with a burn deck, especially if you're like a budget player or you just want to have some fun slinging spells. And Fireblast is a really, really cool spell. A lot of people will never ever play around this. You can have 2 lands in play, 3 cards in hand, and people will say, "Oh, there's no way you can do 10 damage to me. I'm fine to shock in a land here," but then you go bolt, bolt, Fireblast, and you blow someone out of the game.
Yeah, it's sweet. It probably I think when I was trying to avoid, there's nothing like format breaking. I mean there isn't, but this is probably the most like powerful like unique effect that I think we're getting that like wasn't really existing in Timeless.
There's a
Just a way to
couple of
deal 4 for free.
competitors here. I I gotta say,
Yeah.
there's competitors with Fireblast, but what's really cool about this effect is it does ask for mountains specifically. A lot of decks have been like kind of free rolling utility lands a lot lately,
Yeah,
especially since
definitely.
we got things like Strip Mine, and if you're mono red, you would run like Den of the Bugbear, Sunken Zon, MDFCs, those sort of things. So Fireblast is a cool like deck building card because it actually pulls you away from
Yeah,
some
I
of those
don't
new cards.
the new like Eldrazi mono red builds are not even playing basic mountains at this point, as far as I know, because they want to run Ramanap runes to also get the colorless pip, so to speak.
Yeah, that's something I
So
noticed.
yeah.
Like lands, because we're a strip mine format and not a wasteland format, people don't like prioritize playing their basics. And people have gotten very, very greedy on the mana base building because your lands are going to get blown up indiscriminately, right? So you might as well try to get as many colored sources into play. In the case of that Eldrazi deck, you need max colorless and max red before you get strip mined.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, people are definitely gonna try burn with it. I think that's like the most obvious one. You probably run it in like, I mean, it's pretty restrictive. Because even like nothing really else is base red outside of probably burn in mono red or mono red Eldrazi.
Yeah, like you
Um,
don't play this in energy. Like you would have to put this in a burn deck specifically, but we have every
yeah,
bolt and magic at this point, or almost all of them, pretty much all the good ones. So like I really think burn can get there now, especially with us being in an ancient tomb format for the foreseeable future.
yeah, and you can even do like there's with the red flare that no one ever plays.
Oh
What's
yeah,
it?
flare of duplication. We gotta get the Skyfall open.
Like you can flare of duplication it too if you're already playing like red cards. Then you're looking at 8 damage if you do have that. Um, again, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this is. I don't know. I don't think fire duplication is a sauce, but like, it's a unique effect. People haven't gotten to play with it. 4 is a lot. We have very painful mana bases these days. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it's a really fun ad, and I'm ready to lose to some fire blasts and take my lumps.
Yeah, and you mentioned there's no more like potentially format warping cards. I don't know. I think we got some pretty good ones. I think Unmarked Grave is getting us very close to being able to actually play Reanimator. This is the first, what I would consider good direct graveyard tutor. We have Buried Alive, it's 1 more mana. And Unmarked Grave, of course, is a lot more restrictive than Buried Alive, only gets 1 card as well, but this is something that you can go turn 1 Dark Ritual, Unmarked Grave, Reanimate. Those turn 1 lines are now available to you in the format. And especially now that you can play 4 copies of Buried Alive and Unmarked Grave, perhaps that's enough critical mass for you to get a reanimation deck going. We don't have the really good non-legendary target of Archon of Cruelty, but it is something that's in the cube that might make its way to the format soon.
Yeah, I think it's a card that like yeah, it's just you're just aware that it's in the format now. It's in the Dark Ritual color, so it being 2 mana is not as big of a deal. You can yeah, Dark Ritual Grave, reanimate off of it. That being said, probably the most obvious thing to do with it is you play it in Spy. And it's just like you just have another no, you just have another
Yeah.
combination of cards that gets you to turn 1 Spy, right?
Yeah, some
Um,
people aren't going to be happy about that, though this potentially cool, maybe mid-range card or creature deck card just ends up being shoved into Balustrade Spy. Everyone loves that.
yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. Yeah, yeah. And like even like something like this as an ad is pretty curated. They intentionally didn't like give us like Entomb or like something that would hit like an Atraxa. Um, but
Yep.
yeah, I think Spies just stands out as like the most like obvious way to abuse it. I think the new green card that they added can like hit lands. But like I think Spy is the most assertive thing you can do in the dark. That's just always good. Yeah,
Yeah,
with
you're
like
talking about
yeah, you
Woodfall
get
Primus, right?
well land, yeah. Yeah. You could I mean, I guess you could get like a prime time or something, but like if you're playing Dark Ritual in this card, like Spy just slots in. It just slots into Spy so perfectly that and Spy is already kind of like an established archetype. I think that's probably where you start on it.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of Dark Ritual payoffs, how do you feel about Tourach? This is a modern card, and keep in mind, they don't have Dark Ritual or Fast Mana there, but this is a mid-range staple in that format for a bit. If you don't know this card, it's a 2 mana 2/1, but if you kicker it for black, it does him to Tourach for the same cost as the spell, and it gets a 1/1 counter on it whenever your opponent discards a card. So I think this is a pretty like sweet payoff for Dark Ritual decks. Like black mid-range is very, very good in the format right now. They have a lot of card quality. Like they're currently choosing whether they want to play Dauthi Voidwalker or Opposition Agent or Barrowglyph in the main deck, which is, a luxurious choice to be able to make. They have a lot of playables. But this is yet another playable you can add to the pile.
Yeah, so I guess I'm thinking is like protection from white is not super important right now. It's like fine, right? But like it's still gonna die to like your fatal pushes and stuff like that. Um, it doesn't it doesn't work through Veil Summer, which is like another knock that's like fun to deal with, right? It gets subtletyed, right? Another fun thing. If it's a top deck, it's not very and you're both like empty-handed ish, it's not very good. It is actually like 3 black like three black pips to kick it, which is like
It's a lot
most
if
black
you
decks
don't
are
have
yeah, it's a
Ritual.
lot.
Like,
Um
it's not good in
so
the Ancient Tomb decks or the Golgari decks that might not have the triple black source handy.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm seeing like there's just a lot of ways to like defend against it or be fine again like even like the Muxus like Sorin Storm deck is running late like 4 ley lines in the main. There's just a lot of ways to kind of nullify this effect, and it's not a good top deck if you're both like doing this like mid range um kind of like scamish kind of build. And so yeah, I don't. You basically have to get it down at just the right time. If you're in a mid-range mirror, you need to like hit their 1 range. Like it's gonna be really good once you if you ever hit it in a mid-range mirror like turn 2, right? Like it's like insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, but I do see like a lot of counterplay around it to where it's like it's reasonable and it's probably something you'll test. But I like if someone told me, hey, like a month from now that this card's not really seeing any play, I think that's like I would believe it. I think there is a lot of counterplay in the meta for it right now.
Yeah, I think you talked me out of it. I viewed this and I'm like, oh wow, this is definitely like in the run for the black creatures, but I don't think so anymore, especially considering like that deck like truly does have too many playables. Like at this point, the deck needs to either cut Barrowglyph, Bowmasters, Dowdy Voidwalker, or Opposition Agent, and those are like 4 very, very good magic cards. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe 2 months ago would have made the cut.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know some more fair shells are like trying to like trim other parts of like the like reanimate. They don't like to like reanimate or have as many trolls or stuff like that, or like, but it's still, or they're kind of trying to treat on removal by playing like more Felder Profane. But yeah, it just seems a bit hopeful. Yeah, I I don't think it's good enough game states to be like immediate like 4 of, and it's like legendary for fun, but like I don't think that's gonna come up too much. So you're probably not running 4 of them anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of, well, can we go to another card? I guess because I'm kind of thinking of I actually like don't mind Carnage Interpreter. I do think this is like it's not gonna go crazy or anything. But in terms of like fringe shells that I think this like kind of enables is I think the Fury Grief like kind of scam decks like have kind of wanted a good like black red card for a long time. And I think like Spider-Man came out and they released like this like black red 2-drop and it was like okay. But the issue was it's black and red, and so you can't cast it off like a ritual or something like that. This it pitches to both Fury and Grief, so it helps like manage those counts. It's also really good in these low resource. It's a really great top deck if you've like scammed a Grief that game already, which I'm sure everyone loves. No one ever complains about that card. But like just say you like you like mull to 6 and you Grief scam. You're down to like 2 or 3 cards, and then you like play this next like ritual out and play this or something like it's or you play it two turns after you Grief scam, like that's still fine. Um, and then it's just a 5/5. Like it's gonna clock them pretty quickly. It has menace, so like it actually does like clock reasonably well, and it does like kind of dig you out of this like or yeah, it's just a good top deck that also like synergizes well with like your pitch plan if you're set on pitching Fury and Grief. I think probably my biggest issue with it is like red black is not an established archetype, and Fury is like not super well positioned right now. I would say.
Yeah, I like a lot of the points you made there. So you're right. Rakdos Scam has had color problems a lot. They often end up playing cards like Molten Collapse that are okay in Timeless, but like, I do really want to play 4 copies of Molten Collapse in your deck to make those colors work. It's playable off of Dark Ritual, which is fantastic. Um, Another thing with the Rakdos Scam decks, because I think they're not that bad. Like, if black mid-range, mono black, and green black mid-range are good, then Rakdos is probably not too far behind. We would just need a different meta or perhaps good cards in red to really enable it. But this is something that really helps plug a lot of the holes. It is a fantastic top deck, like you said. It's just another powerful thing to Dark Ritual out. Yeah, this wasn't on my mind. I
Yeah.
really thought of this as just a cute cube card until I thought about it in the scam context.
Yeah, and again, it's probably you can maybe play around with it in like mono black and stuff like that, but I think you're probably going to end up wanting the issue is you're already on Ancient Tomb, and then you're probably going to just I think you kind of really need the flexibility of being able to like pitch it to get like the full like utility of it. I think that's one of the big pulls to the card is it pitches to both and hits ups
Yeah,
those counts.
yeah, definitely. Like, because the deck is always short on red cards. Red cards is the problem for Fury decks. Red has traditionally been one of the worst colors in Timeless. Like, there's no shortage of good black cards, but like, how many red cards are you going to play? And every red card you play is one that can't actually pitch to Grief or be played off of a Dark Ritual.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't think it's going to go crazy or redefine the format or anything, but it'll be a fun card to play in those decks if you ever want to just like jam some scam.
Right. Another
Okay,
cool
for
black
more of the
card.
like staple cards, yeah.
Yeah, so this one, I don't know if it goes in the black mid-range decks, but I'm thinking about tempo decks. The tempo decks we
Mhm.
spent a lot of time talking with Chester about last episode, where you're playing Psychic Frog, you're playing Hydroponics, you're playing Tameo. This is absolutely playable in those decks, and I think it might be, I don't want to use the word oppressive because that would be overselling it, but I think that there could be some really strong play patterns here. Like, for example, if you're in that mirror, you play your Hydroponics Architect, they play their Hydroponics Architect. Really, whoever gets to attack with that Hydroponics Architect gets to start drawing cards by putting those islands that draw a card in their deck. Being able to interact for 0 mana is fantastic, right? Like, if you're going second, your opponent goes turn 1 Island Hydroponics, you are going to go turn 1 Watergrave Hydroponics, Snuff Out your guy. And you kind of negated your opponent's on the play advantage there. Of course, they're going to have an extra land drop next turn. You didn't completely negate the on the play advantage. But with how low to the ground that deck runs and how mana efficient you have to be in mirrors, I'm like really interested in Snuff Out.
Yeah, so I guess I'm thinking of the play like Are you running it in the sideboard for the like for tempo for like tempo mirrors?
I'm not enough of a tempo mage to know. Like they'll start out probably trying to play it in the main and see what happens. The issue with main decking it though is that it says non-black, and that's killer in the mirror matchup even because it doesn't hit Psychic Frog, it doesn't hit Bowmasters. Those are problem permanents. It doesn't hit the
Ye-
some of the creatures in the black mid-range deck. It does hit like Weary's Own Guard,
eh,
which is fantastic, but it misses a lot in the format right now.
Yeah, and you have to fetch shock to play it if you're in tempo, right?
I mean, it's not the end of the
So
world, especially in a tempo mirror where the clock's pretty slow. Like, I'd much rather
yeah, no,
snuff
like
out than have a Wary Zone guard sit and play and strip me, for example.
yeah, I mean, I think it's better. Like it's good against tempo, but if you're against like a mid range, you're like an aggro deck, and you like have to fetch shock snuff out. I it's not the best. Like you're not. I don't think you're at a good spot because you have a fetch shock mana base for the most part.
Yeah.
You play a few basic islands or something, but like I think that's like I think that's pretty tough for tempo. I think tempo has trouble like with getting back the life from it. Um, I think the main thing is that it does give black a way to answer Alendas. Um, like on the draw too. So you don't even, or no, I guess no, you still have to. No, it still doesn't work on the draw. You're
Yeah,
still
well, if
screwed on
they
the draw.
turn one it, but if we're in the turn one natty realm, then nothing works. This
Yeah.
is about as good as it gets. Like, you can answer the Alenda without losing tempo, which is great. That's what I like about this card. You're right that Shock, Fetch, Snuff Out is 7 life. And like we said with Chester a lot yesterday, the blue deck has a lot of trouble clocking right now. You need 10 turns to kill your
Mhm.
opponent. I don't know if I want to go to 13 on turn 1. You're probably right about that.
Yeah. Um, I know, but again, it's just I think it is one of those really powerful effects. I don't know. It's weird because if you're a Necro deck, that's just 4 cards, but you also get to cast it for free end of turn if you have the swamps. But then you also have to run the swamps, right? So there's like a lot of kind of balancing going with that. Yeah, I don't know where. I mean, it's just like free removal seems really good, but I also like I don't immediately see a deck where it slots in and it's like amazing in. I guess like maybe mono black, and then you kind of like you just have it.
Yeah, it's not that great, and
But
especially
mono,
with black creatures being in the format right now. Like if the top dog deck wasn't mono black and like you mostly had to pay against energy and you had to deal with guide pride before it went off, sure you could snuff that thing out. Yeah, it might be overselling it in the current format. I am really interested though because Timeless has gotten low to the ground. Mana efficiency is key right now, so I'm curious if like the blue mages will figure it out.
I think it's just one of those things where it's like it's probably one of the most powerful effects, like on here, like out of the release cards. But I like the context might not be ideal for it to like be really well like positioned right now.
Yeah. There's one more black card. If we want to just keep talking about all
Okay.
the black cards in a row, it's Vampire
Sure.
Hexmage.
Yeah. What do you think about Hexmage?
So we obviously don't have Dark Depths yet. Uh, yeah, I think it's in the cube, so it is a possibility for later. Someone on Discord shouted that this is incidentally very good with Overlords, like Overlord of the Baelmerc. So in a black
Okay.
mid-range
Yeah.
deck, if you wanted to go back to the Baelmerc style mid-range deck, you want to play Dollmaker, this is pretty interesting. We got Flicker Wisp too very recently, so maybe black-white mid-range could be back on the menu. I don't think it's going to be good, especially with how much power creep has hit the format lately and how many good new powerful things we have to do. But it's a cool thing to think about when deck building.
Yeah. I know there was a 5 color battle a while ago that was like kind of a fun meme in
Yeah.
modern.
Let me see if
Um.
I could find it. I do remember that fun meme, the invasion of Alara.
Yeah.
If I flip you, well, we got to flip it sideways on Scryfall. Awaken the Maelstrom's all colors. Target player draws 2 cards. You may put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield. Create a token that's a copy of a permanent you control. Distribute 3+1/+1 counters among creatures you control. Destroy target permanent an opponent controls. This is a lot of text.
Yeah, but I forget the engine that actually like got this card out into play. Um and like I mean and this was in modern like probably about like a year maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Um
this was in Modern. I don't
it's
know
it's
if it was
funny.
ever like a great Modern deck or if it was just like a cool Aspiring Spike Stream deck.
Yeah, I mean I think someone's going to try it at some point with Hexmage in the format.
Hmm.
I don't think it's going to be good, but it is like funny.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I don't think I mean, also, I guess giving you another way to like flip, to flip like a Bailmerk is like interesting. Um, and you can do it end of turn, but I mean, it's not like you can only really do it with the Black Bailmerk if you're gonna be like if you're gonna have the black pips for it. Um, None of the other overlords are really
Yeah.
like time have seen timeless play, right? Like,
Yeah, I agree with you. Like this was
um,
a bit of a stretch for me to bring up, but I hadn't like thought of the Overlord interaction, and it was a tier deck at some point in the past.
yeah,
Cards are still very
yeah,
good.
that's fair. Okay, I will say, okay, I do like. I think Pentad Prism is like a fun ad that like it might be worth trying in Green Black Belcher. I know we haven't mentioned that deck at all on this entire podcast because it's been a dead deck for a very long time. But you have the color you are green black, so you have two colors to cast Pentad Prism with, and you are actually able to like stock up mana with it, which is pretty interesting. And there might be some value like and then it's besiege target after you've like stored the mana from it. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's like I think it's interesting. You could like if you play a Pentad Prism on two with two colors, and then you Dark Ritual Beseech, like you have a kill. Um, like just off that alone, you don't need any other payoffs. I think your artifacts and your some of your Beseech payoffs were already kind of bad. So I think the fact that you kind of have this way to like stock up mana for a turn and then use that mana later on in a following like combo turn or something like that. I think that's pretty valuable. Even just like turn three Beseech is just going to kill a lot of things. Uh,
Yeah,
Off
definitely.
if you beseech and you have like a channel or anything, and yeah, if you beseech, like so you turn to Prism, you don't even need a land drop, and then you beseech off that, and you get your channel, and then if you have one of your seven cards in your three Belcher or your four Karn, like you automatically have a win there, right?
Yeah, so
Um,
not needing a land drop's actually a really big part of it, because like I thought about playing Belcher for the last metagame challenge as like a surprise deck, and every time I queued against a Strip Mine deck, I realized how painful it was to have to pay 3 life again for your land drop. So it kind of makes you Strip Mine proof if you're able to store up mana for a later turn. It adds a lot of redundancy and consistency to this sort of deck. And I know I pulled up a build. This doesn't have to be the build moving forward. This build is like a year and a half old at this point. I
very
might
old.
have
Yeah,
touched
it's
the
about a year. Yeah.
sideboard at some point, but yeah, like when did this deck get invented? A year and a half ago, right? It's an
Yeah,
old one.
sometime
Whenever we
before
got
Black
Modern
White Belcher, but
Horizons.
before yeah, but
Yeah.
after I think, but after Shift and Tell, yeah.
Yes, it was pretty
Um,
shortly after Modern Horizons. It's once we got these lands. It was the most straightforward Belcher build, and it's still quite good and consistent. It's just like half a turn too slow for the format and disruptible via Strip Mine. So I'll definitely look at it again.
but yeah, I think it's a fun kind of add in. I think that's the only real like you want to have a Beseech in your deck, and then you want to touch at least another color. So I think this is kind of like the most obvious add. I think Black White Belcher it's a bit like too thin, and you don't get to use the artifact when you're done with it. Black White Belcher doesn't have that many white sources in the first place. Yeah, so I think Green Black Belcher kind of like makes the most sense as a deck that like gets that.
Yeah, and if we want to
But
be like really creative deck builders, I think we can expand our horizons just like a little bit more and think about maybe an affinity shell. Like you could have a Mox Opal in your deck. That adds a new color. It doesn't have to be a literal
mhm.
affinity deck. It's probably better you're like a combo deck that also supports Mox Opal.
Yeah, and it kind of plays like a zero mana card, anyways.
Yeah.
If you have the two mana for it. Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess you could. No, I mean, you probably can't try it in Necrostorm because you're base black again. Okay. But yeah, well, actually, no. Necrostorm has a lot of like non-black sources, incidentally. Um, I don't know how excited they are about it, but it is interesting. Um, I think I know. Okay, another card. I think was it my is it not my is it Mindcloud? No, I think it was Pyrokinesis. Yeah, it was Pyrokinesis that. I know some people were excited about this. This just kind of feels like worse fury to me. The biggest use case is that you can play it in Lura stacks, and it works at instant speed. But I think the issue is again like
Fire
Yeah,
Magic in the
Fire Magic
format
is yeah,
now.
no, Fire Magic's a better card. It's way more splashable. You don't have to run 14 plus other, like red cards to play it. Um, yeah, I think like blue black tempo is already just splashing red for post board. Fire Magic energy's not even that concerning right now. It's like it's in the meta and you should be aware of it, but it's not like enemy number one right now. So I don't think this effect is gonna like really see any play. I don't think it's that good of a card in the format.
Yeah, I agree. Like we're way past wanting to play this card. It's Fury with a bunch of extra downside. Sure, it's instant speed, but understand like in the context of this format, red is a pretty bad color. So supporting 14 pitches is a significant deviation
Well,
for the decks that want to play this. Like the blue-black tempo decks that are splashing Fire Magic right now are only playing Fire Magic as the red card. It is the only red card in their 75. They have 2 Steam Vents, and that's it to support the card. So,
yeah,
like, it's just so hard to adapt the deck to support Pyrokinesis instead.
yeah. I will say, yeah. So I don't, yeah. I think like red's not necessarily like a bad color. Like it's probably like third or fourth with white. And we know which ones the first two colors are.
Yeah, it's obviously
And
blue-black and then white-red. Yeah,
yeah,
red has gotten a boost lately, especially since we got
yeah,
Broadside, my beloved. Maybe red can be number
right.
3.
So yeah, I think more of the issue is just like it's difficult to like there's a lot of power at the top of red with like Ragavan and like Bomba and stuff like that. But I think the power like it's just very top heavy with
Hmm.
like the card quality, and then after that you kind of start having to run like you have to like Bolt's fine, right? But it's not like a crazy card. It's still dead in some matchups.
We're gonna play
Yeah,
Carnage
stuff like
Interpreter
that.
for our red count at this point. Like it does fall off pretty hard.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I think that's more the issue with the Pyrokinesis is like, okay, what deck is controlling enough to like want to play this against creature decks that also wants to run a ton of red cards, right? And I think that's kind and then like you also want to run it over Fury, so that basically puts you into a Lurrus deck.
Hmm.
And then it's just not. And then you're not going to play Bombardiers because you're going to play Bombardiers in all your Fury decks, right? So like it starts losing a lot of like it just doesn't have a lot of niche uses. I think it's like its issue and it's outclassed by Fury. Like in the issues where like in a lot of the cases where it is good. Yeah, there's I don't think Preordain was that interesting. I don't think Dress Down is not really there yet. I know some people have talked about you can counter S and T with it by putting it in against Atraxa and Saiba.
Oh man,
Um
yeah.
yeah,
You
we're
could
not gonna do
certainly
that.
play the card against Show and Tell. I mean, it's a timeless legal play. I'll tell you that.
You can draw a card before you die, maybe. If it
Screenshot post to the Hall of Shame. Like it's not gonna work out, fam. And yeah, there's just
yeah.
not enough cards in the format that are very popular that this completely and totally shuts down. It could maybe be interesting in like a Stifle Knot style deck. Like every so often, one of the blue copers comes up with a deck that will do the Stifle Knot thing with like Uro and Flage or Null Drifter. So this is another redundant way to do this. You flash this in on end step, and then you untap, play a Null Drifter. It's a cool interaction, but not meta defining.
Yeah, and it blanks like some of the or it makes the Goyf's O1 for a turn. But like yeah, I don't think there's like you kind of need to be able to like wipe a board like you need to wipe out like two construct like constructs with it kind of thing. Um from like Urza Saga or something I think for it to like really make sense. Yeah, so I think it's just a bit behind like what's in the format and it doesn't have really good targets right now,
Yep.
right? Um Speaking of not having good targets, I think Dack Fayden's kind of in the same boat of just like yeah, we don't really have the power 9 in play. We don't really have like a lot of good artifacts to steal. You can like sometimes hit something and that's cool. Um but yeah, I don't think it's Dack Fayden's not there yet either, I don't think.
Yeah, we have better things to do for 3 mana in this format, and I think a lot of the decks that would like to play him are already playing Lurrus. Like, there's a lot of low to the ground Lurrus decks that would maybe play him at the top for filtering and cheeky wins, but yeah, not for 3 mana.
I think that was
Yeah, we can go through the list really
yeah,
quick of everything we didn't mention. Coalition Relic is a 3 mana rock, which won't make the cut. Death Breeder's Champion is like kind of cool. This is something that can give your creatures first strike out of nowhere, and you could dash it. It's a cool cube card. I
double
don't think it
strike.
makes the mono red. Oh, what did I say instead of double strike?
First, yeah, but yeah, you said first strike, but yeah, double
Okay,
strike.
yeah.
Okay, cool, sure.
Which is very strong. Like, you could think in mono red Stompy, oh, I'm getting my 6/7 Pyrokinesis double strike and murder my opponent. That's pretty fun, but I don't think it'll actually make the cut in the end. Though the deck has been kind of looking for a 3-drop, and they're playing Eldrazi instead, so maybe. Figure of Destiny, a beloved Boomer Cube card. You don't have time to spend this much mana in this format. Oh, this was one that is like maybe playable in Luris Energy. I
Yeah,
don't
if you were
think
trying
so.
staff, you can try this too at some point.
Yeah,
You're more than
staff
welcome.
didn't feel
You're
good
more
that
than
I.
welcome to do that.
Yeah, staff didn't feel good having to like tap it and pay mana all the time. But this is one that it just makes a 2/2 and draws a card every turn it attacks. So 2 mana Ragavan effect. Sure. Hmm. It's the classic Leovold, an absolute banger, but I don't think there's a. I mean, there is Sultai Cope. Like, those tempo decks show up all the time. They play Subtlety now instead of playing Luris, so I'm sure I'm going to run into this on ladder. I'm not going to say it's good,
Oh yeah,
but
some people are gonna play it. It's like it's cool if it like hits play and you're in like this like kind of controlly like tempo mirror, but like there are just like a lot of bad board states. Like it's also like you're kind of winning if you're able to get a 3-drop into play in the first place. So like, yeah, I don't like how did you get it into play? It's
you
just like,
cast it for 3 mana.
yeah,
You spent 3 honest mana on it. All right, Mind Collapse, another free spell. It's a cute one. I don't think it's quite good. It doesn't go
nope,
face. If
yeah.
it's had a way to go face instead, then yeah, we could talk about it like Fireblast, but we don't need sack lands to go creatures. Mirror Battle Ball is cool, but like, I mean, it's an unmarked grave target if you really want to go there. There's better
It's
things to
just a
do.
Ugin's Lab, yeah. But other than that, it's
Yeah.
unexciting.
Oh, Seething Song. We forgot Seething Song. This is a really interesting one. We got a red ritual for the first time. Is it a great red ritual? No,
No,
there's better
no,
ones. Pyretic ritual and friends are a bit better, but does have use? Can we jam this in a Belcher deck somewhere?
no. I don't
No,
think it's good. What are
don't
you,
give
were you gonna
up.
look?
You're
Oh,
the
you turn 3 ramp this into Belcher, and then you get to untap and you Belcher. Like it's just like it's the worst one by like a lot. It's like if Dark Ritual costed 2 more mana, right, and then it still netted you like it. It's just really bad. I don't think it's gonna see any play.
I thought you were the combo deck guy. I was expecting you to
It's
like
not. It's
have
not
this
good.
figured out.
It's not good.
What? No, fine. Titania is really cool, and we're also getting Zurin Orb, which is the 0 mana land sack outlet, which is interesting.
Mhm.
So those combo. It's a 5-drop though, so you're not playing it in this format. Oh, we
Yeah,
have
I mean, you could
another.
like natural order into it if you like, and you want to like do some jank stuff. It's not good. It's not
Yeah,
good.
it's
I'm not
not
like
good. Me,
just
me when I
put the
spend
Atraxa
4 mana
into
and a
play.
creature for 5 mana. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Torsten is another natural order target. It's just a chunky, cheap
Yeah,
target. I don't think it's worth mentioning too much. Absent is
it's too
a.
expensive.
Yeah, it's too expensive for this format. It's a cool removal spell though. Oh, Upheaval, the Boomer Classic. Too expensive, but
Yeah,
like someone's gonna have a lot of fun with this. Like
someone's gonna try.
someone's
Someone's
gonna
gonna have a great time with
play.
this.
Oh, absolutely. Someone's
Yeah,
gonna play the Affinity deck where they play out like all their Mox Opals and Chrome Moxes. They play out like their Thought Monitors that draw cards. They Upheaval, replay everything, and that guy's gonna have the time of his life, like 1 in every 10
yeah, good for
games.
them. Yeah, yeah.
Wins a bad in another one that's way too expensive for the format.
Yep.
Cool. And that's everything. So there's one important thing we forgot to mention, that in addition to these cards, obviously we're getting ones that aren't immediately craftable. Like here's a cool post on Reddit that has a bunch of cards, like you can see them for yourself. Force of Will that people have been asking for that aren't craftable yet. They may be craftable at a later date, but it won't be as soon as the cube releases. Uh, but included in these cards that aren't in the bonus sheet are cards that already exist on Arena. For example, Strip Mine here in this screenshot. You can see Strip Mines at the rare rarity instead of mythic. So once this cube goes out, you will be able to craft Strip Mine at this rarity. So it's only going to cost rare wild cards for Strip Mine moving forwards. We also saw the original Ancient Tomb here for 2 mana. Actually, I don't know if that's the original Ancient Tomb art. This is the Master's art. You know, quote unquote original when compared to the planets that we got on Arena.
Yeah.
And then we got Dismember for uncommon, as it should be. Raise your hand if you spent 4 mythics on Dismember. Leave a very sad comment on my video. I didn't spend it. I saw all the cool mono green decks and I
It's a really
said,
cool art. It's a really cool art.
dude, there were so many like mono green brews in Timeless lately. I was like, oh, I want to try one of these. They didn't seem good, but it
They
seemed
all
like
on
a
for
fun
Dismember.
playable deck. But yeah, it was 4 Dismember. I was like,
I'm out.
I'm out. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do it anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say like especially in terms of like we're probably gonna touch more on the like budget decklist project, aka the poverty zone, like pretty soon. But like just getting Ancient Tomb and Strip Mine from mythic to rare, those are like two really big downshifts in terms of like being able to build decks. I know like especially for like Golgari, Mono Black, Mono Red, they all ran like strip mine or ancient tomb, and that was just 8 mythics that you kind of had to deal with, and them all going to rare is super nice.
Yeah, and then like the One Ring is mandatory in those decks. Grief is mandatory in those decks. Like you're completely mythic gated, so it's awesome to see
Yeah,
the downshift.
yeah. So that's a really big add into like in times of like in terms of timeless affordability.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'd be good.
All right, you want to talk at all about these cool cards that maybe we'll get? I think it's opening up a can of worms, so maybe later. Though some
I
of
think it's too
these,
much of a can of worms. I feel like
yeah,
people were think like I think like people were deck building with Flash like a couple days earlier, and then I like read the article again, and I was like, yeah, that's not what they like, because it was like a hint word, and then they're like, oh, the Flash might be coming into Timeless,
yeah.
but it's
So
like not
none of these cards are
it.
coming to Timeless yet, but the future is not ruled out for any of them. Could be in a future bonus sheet,
Yeah,
could be in an expansion to this existing prize pack bonus sheet as well.
I think it's more of, yeah, I think these cards are like in future discussions of like potential like anthologies and like wish list. I think these cards are like more on the table than other random cards now at this point. Like if your pet card is not in there right now, that's probably a bad sign for your pet card. I can't like Life from the Loam is not in there, right?
Yeah, Loam's
As
not
far
in
as I
there, and
see.
Oath of Druids
So like
too. Oath of Druids is the number
yeah,
one card, or one of the cards that I kind of hope they don't add anytime soon, because despite not being power, it goes straight into show and tell as 4 copies and probably breaks the deck in half.
yeah, but I think like moving forward, I think it's fair to like say that these are more likely to be like added into timeless at some point than like random pet cards that people are like fantasize.
Yeah.
Like what's the another one? The Mergent Retide, or
Oh,
I don't even
Murktide
know how to say
Regent.
it.
Holy moly, you butchered that
Murktide
one.
Regent.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Murktide
Yeah.
Bros. It's so over. Fair blue players, go cope. But yeah, I would love to see some of like the more innocuous cards here, like ones that only go in one deck or they have a very narrow impact. I would love to see those kinds of cards go to Timeless.
Yeah. Also, oh, red rituals are also not in there notably.
Oh yeah,
Just for
that's true.
more
They did not
stuff.
have the good red ritual. Wait, so in the cube, they could have put any red ritual in the cube, and then they went ahead and they said, yes, Seething Song, but not the better ones.
Well, oh, they did add Manamorphose though, which is like part of it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Morphos is
maybe
cool.
yeah, and
I
it's
hope we
possible
get
like that.
Morphos. It's one
Yeah.
of the small cards. Like it's not gonna break the format, but it's just cool to include in your deck building. Like I same with like Frantic
Yeah,
Search
no, it's
too.
super cool.
It
It's
needs
like
more cards to enable it, but like
yeah.
it's a cool potential storm card. It's in the list.
Also, like if you're comboing off, why am I gonna have red or black, red or sorry, slip, fruity and slip? If I'm comboing off, why am I gonna have red or green mana floating? That's the real question. Like how
Two
am I gonna do
worst colors
that?
in
Like,
Timeless. Tisk tisk.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know how they're gonna space this out, like with like anthologies, if like anthologies are even gonna like intersect with this card pool at all. If they're like if there's any kind of overlap, I don't know if they're their own thing, and then this is kind of its own like, and then cube release card, like cube prize pack bonus sheets are going to be their own thing. I have no idea how that's going to work. I
Yeah.
don't want to like
So
speculate too much. It's just like yeah,
yeah, from the wording, like it seems like they plan on expanding this list. They're going to continually expand this cube list. So if it's like the MTGO vintage cube, this is a bit speculative, but we would assume they're going to rerun this cube in the future, every 2 or 3 months, just like they do with vintage cube on MTGO, right? So I could imagine that next time they rerun this, this list comes back with 10 more cards on it or 20 more cards on it, and you can get the new cards in the
yeah, I think
box. That's something that it seems like they would do.
yeah, I think it's like yeah, I think it's fair to
Yeah.
say.
The timeline
Um,
is kind of speculative on that, but it definitely seems like they are going to expand this specific list here, and they intend for you to get these cards through these cube prize packs up here.
yeah, and I intend to play this cube. Looks really fun. I think a lot of people in the timeless format are just like they want to play on Arena. They don't have an MTGO account for whatever reason, out of principle, or they're like, they're not 40, whatever it is.
I have
Um,
an MTGO
but
account, but I literally only log on to it for a cube, and not even every time, just because I like Arena so much better. I'm so used to Arena.
yeah, but yeah, I think, but yeah, so like I think people are like in the timeless format to play like overpowered cards on Arena. This is exactly that too. So I think there's going to be a very large intersect between timeless players and people that are going to enjoy this style of draft. And it's probably going to get more attention for the format because it's um, a lot of people really like vintage cube and those style of cubes for good reason. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think like timeless kind of just stays getting blessed really,
Yeah, we've had so much good
but not
fortune
expected.
lately. I'm so looking forward to this cube too. I'll probably make YouTube content on it too. Like I know I have Timeless in the YouTube channel name, but that's not a rule or anything. I could do content on anything I have fun with. It's just that like I've only played Timeless lately, and this is the first thing where it's like, oh yeah, I want to get really good at this in addition to Timeless.
Yeah, I would. This is 100 times better than playing Brawl Metagame Challenge for wild cards. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. It's not. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's.
I
But
almost
yeah, so really
uploaded.
excited.
Yeah, I almost uploaded Vintage Cube gameplay before. Like I've recorded it before, but then I always look at it, good at it, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't really fit the channel. I'm not gonna put it up. This time it goes up for real.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be fun. Yeah, I am like, yeah, this cube's gonna have so much attention. It'll be really fun to see like what comes of it and like kind of how people decide to draft it and stuff like that. I've been going through like old vintage. I went through like Sandblack's old like vintage cube article, or like no, his old like cube article on how he drafts for cube and stuff like that. Because it's very different than I mean like Arena Cube is probably the closest thing. Um, but that's like without power and stuff like that. So I've never gotten to draft vintage cube. I watch it a ton. So yeah, it'll be really exciting. It's really really cool.
Oh wow, you
Um,
never drafted it once? I would assume you made a MTGO account at some point, because that was me. It was like I watched it a million times on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, I gotta make an account and play this at some point.
That's fair. No, I've lived vicariously through it. I think I've watched like, probably 80-ish vintage cube drafts at this point or something like that.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm very excited to play this out and yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, another good update from Arena.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy Wizards is adding this. This is my favorite thing that they've added to Arena in a long time, superseding the anthologies, which were my other favorite thing, new favorite thing that they added. Just keep winning in Timeless, and it's an awesome time to be
Yeah.
playing the format.
Yeah, you get to play with LED, you get to play with like Brain Freeze. It's gonna be. Do you have like an archetype? Or, well, I mean, that's the archetype I want to play. I want to force Storm at least once or a couple times. Do you have like an archetype that you're like, I really want to do this at least once in the
Yeah,
format?
well, yeah, we want to all live like the Dreamstorm deck with Memory Jar, but for me, I'm just gonna sniff some glue, draft my artifact fast mana, and use it to play like some white creatures and turn them sideways. That wins games.
No, I mean yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be curious to see what works, and I'm sure a lot of people will be playing like me will be playing a powered cube for the first time. So I'm sure there'll be a ton of blowouts and a ton of people just misdrafting it. So it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, that's the win strategy for me on MTGO. I open Black Lotus, pack one, pick one. All right, let's draft every white creature. Every 3 mana threat goes out on turn one now.
Such
It's
a
just
waste.
that
That's
simple.
such a waste.
Hey, that's how I get my tickets back, so I don't have to pay for the cube.
Uh, That's fair. Do you have any other thoughts you want to say? Anything else?
No, I can't wait. I can't wait to see like what awesome archetypes are in this cube because I'm absolutely not going to draft white weenies every single time. And we're going to discover it together and hopefully have more podcast episodes on this topic pretty soon.
Yeah, it'll be sick. Yeah, I'm super down. It comes out the 28th.
Yeah, Tuesday.
I think that's the official release date. But yeah, I'll probably start that like that day and go missing. So yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, me too. I'm also going to go missing for probably 48 hours. All right.
Uh,
Well, that's good to wrap up the episode. A little shorter than usual because this was a surprise article drop, but we got over all the cards in detail, which was awesome. So Thanks for recording, Grease, and thanks for watching, everyone.
All right, see y'all.